What is going on out there, everybody? Episode 19 of the All Around Sports Podcast with your host, Jim McAllister. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, the weeks just keep getting better and better and better and better. I mean, you can't even begin to even describe the emotion I feel right now. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to my wife, Melissa, who is in Tennessee right now as I'm recording this podcast on at a very special conference she was asked to attend to. And just want to say we all love and miss you very much back here, and we can't wait for you to come home. With that being said, I was getting texts from my wife last night about the Knick game, which she is such a good sport about. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, let me tell you, for 3.5 quarters, this team looked like a team that hadn't played basketball in 9 days. I mean, let's be honest. Like, they just looked rusty. They looked out of sorts and out of sync, and they were still trying to kind of figure some things out. They were missing badly. Like, just they looked like a team that was just, to be honest, had too much energy. Okay, like they were too strong, if that makes sense. When in a playoff situation like this, you normally don't have that much rest, and for a Knick team to have this much rest is like almost unheard of. Even way back when they would play these knockdown, drag out 6-7 game. These series that were just wars. And by the time they got to the conference finals and sometimes a couple times the NBA finals, they were just so worn down and beat up that, fatigue caught to them. It caught up to them. So I really do think for the first 3.5 quarters of this game, that happened. Okay. I really do think that was a big and major factor. But two things changed when the Knicks were down 22 points with 7.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And you have to give the coach credit, and you got to give him his flowers, like I've been since literally Game 3 of the Atlanta Hawks series, because he's made timely adjustments over and over again that I know that a lot of you notice, but they need to be called out, okay? The first one was taking Josh Hart out of the game because you saw that they were allowing him to shoot the three. And he did make a couple, and he did have a relatively good game for Josh Hart standards, but you needed a guy like Landry Shamet who can be and was offense, right? Offensive minded. And you knew when he got an open look, the ball was going up, right? And you had confidence that most of the time it was going in. And thankfully, in those, 3 threes that he hit, the first one to kind of really start the run, then the one that bounced and this and that, and then went in for the tie. And then, late in the overtime to put them up, they basically just more or less like the dagger three. I mean, that's on the coach. He recognized that, and he made sure that he had the right guys in the game. And the second thing they did was just exploit James Harden. I mean, just exploit him. I mean, how many times did Brunson just get to whatever spot he wanted and just go downhill and just start getting hot? Once that happened, I mean, it just was a snowball effect. And, it's unbelievable. Like, I don't have like listen, I don't have a great vocabulary as it is, but I can't think of a word to even describe this. This is just mind-boggling basketball to me. And I'm so happy as a Knick fan, and I know all of you are too, to watch this. To know that finally this is like our team that's happening to, right? Normally, like, we're on the other side of this. Like, we're the ones having all these, things that happen. I mean, look, last year, Halliburton takes a three, the ball literally hit the ceiling and then went in. I mean, this stuff doesn't happen to the teams that I root for. This is crazy. And listen, I'm here for it. I really am. Like, this is just, it's unbelievable. And a couple other things I do want to talk about this game is, one, you got to talk about Mikal Bridges. I mean, F them picks. Like, that's where I'm at right now with Mikal Bridges. Like, I don't care anymore. And again, you put this one on the coach, right? Because he's the one that made the decision. He decided when Bridges was not playing well to sit him, okay? And he sat him in a critical fourth quarter that eventually the Knicks lost, fine. But he sent a message. And he said, you know what? If you're not going to perform and you're not going to produce, you're not going to play. And I love that. We need more of that in sports, right? I get it. These guys make crazy salaries, right? But if your team is serious about winning, there are times you need to take your best player and put him on the bench to send a message and say, okay, I don't care how much you make. I don't care what you're doing. You're not helping us right now. And if you're not helping us, you're not going to play. And once he did that, it lit a fire under Mikal Bridges. This is the guy they traded for. This is the guy now. You see him now going to the basket a lot more. You see him with the confidence making these corner threes one after another. And then getting to, like his spots on the floor. He's always had that really nice fadeaway. Sorry about that, guys. He really had this nice fadeaway that was, just one of those, it's just a nice looking shot that you knew he went to all the time. But again, he's elevated his game, and his defense has been unbelievable. And I was talking to my son Brett before the series started, and I said to him, I would like to see Mikal Bridges on James Harden. I do think, between the combination of like Josh Hart and Deuce McBride and other guys, you can, what's his face? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Mitchell. He's going to get to his spots on the floor. He's going to, he's going to get his points. He's going to do these all-world things. Like he did something last night I've never seen before. How he dove on a loose ball, intentionally dropped it to get up and go get a layup is something I've never seen. I mean, that is just about as a heads up of a play as you'll ever see in basketball. So you got to give him credit for that. So I get it. It's one game. You don't want to, jump the gun. And I'm always one that is very much like I worry about the moment, and I don't like talking ahead. And I'm still not going to talk ahead, but I'm going to say this. I'll say this right into a microphone. It's over. It's over. This series is over. You, as a Cleveland team, for being in 2 7-game series, being as not physical, but being as competitive and intense those games were for them, and then come in here, get a 22-point lead, and then blow it in that fashion, knowing that the Knicks are well rested and knock the rust off. 5 games tops. 5 games tops. I think Cleveland's good enough to win 1, but I'm telling you right now, 5 games tops. And I don't care if this sounds like prisoner of the moment stuff. I don't care that, I'm kind of allowing my emotion to get the best of me, but I have to be, a fan and also have to, look at it through a lens of knowing what I'm talking about. And I'm telling you right now, the Cavaliers had their soul snatched last night. They did. They had their soul snatched. It was. That doesn't happen to the teams I root for. I'm going to say it again. That doesn't happen. For that to happen in the fashion that it did is still just. I'm on a high, man. I'm on a high. There's no other way of putting it. It's just one of those things where, I just don't want this run to end. I really don't. I want this thing to go on as long as it possibly could. And if whatever that is, that is. You know what I'm saying? Now, as much as I want to, talk about the Knicks for the entire show, I do want to kind of bring up some things that, I always talk about, and that's the Mets. And, I want to talk about the positive with the Mets here, right? Forget about last night. Last night was, it didn't feel right. They get up to a 5-0 lead, and all of a sudden, McClain's not right. And I don't know what it is with him. I don't know if it was the early workload with the WPC and him starting to get, ramping up earlier, or he's just been out of sorts the entire season. He's not the same guy that we was called up last year. I don't know if it's just a different approach to pitching. I don't know if it's something that is being taught to him. I mean, listen, the guy's got amazing stuff. Let's be honest, but he gets hit too much. I feel like he's not. I can't explain it. He's just not the same guy he was when he got called up last year. Is that just the league adjusting to him? Or are we now putting too much pressure on the kid, thinking like he's the next guy in the lineage of great Met pitchers, which he still could be, but there's just something not right with McClain. And we have Sal LICATA coming on in a couple of minutes, so I'm going to talk to Sal about that, among other things. I mean, what a time to have Sal LICATA come on our show after one of the great wins in Knick history. Let's be honest. That's one of the greatest wins I've ever seen. And I've been a Knick fan for as long as I can remember, way back in the days. I was just having this conversation with a buddy of mine yesterday that, when I first started watching Knick basketball and Ranger hockey and things like that, I was living in Staten Island, New York with my family, and Channel 9 would play the Knick away games, and they would play the Ranger away games on the weekends, and sometimes on a Friday night or whatever. And that was my introduction to basketball and my introduction to hockey. And the Mets were also on, I believe, Channel 9 as well. So I would watch the Mets. And again, like that was how my fandom started, watching those games on the weekends when when I could. And here we are. I'm 45, and I've been been through all of it, the ups, the downs, the in betweens, and everything like that. And I'm just so thrilled as a fan, as it's whatever, just to watch this whole thing kind of come together. So, um, in a couple of minutes, right after this break, we're going to have the host of Baseball Night in New York, weeknights on SNY, and also the host of the SAL LICATA Show you can find on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast, Apple and Spotify. SAL LICATA.
Okay.
All right, everybody, we're back here on the All Around. And as you can see, my guest at this time is none other than the host of Baseball Night in New York, weeknights on SNY at 6 p.m., and the host of the Sal Licata Show on YouTube weekdays. And you can find the Sal Licata Show podcast on Apple and Spotify. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Sal Licata. Mr. Licata, it is a great thank you for coming and joining us on the show.
Not a problem. I appreciate you asking. I appreciate the support. So happy to do it for you. What's going on, Jim?
Yeah, I've been a big fan of yours forever. I mean, we're talking like overnight FAN days, even back in the old WOR days when you were over there. Like I've been following you since, like I can't even begin to tell you, since I was probably, you and I kind of are on the same age. So like really when you kind of started getting your teeth into the business, I've been a huge fan of you. To be able to connect and do this, it's an honor. It really is. So thank you
Well,
again.
thank you. That means a lot to me. I really do appreciate that. I'm glad you messaged me, and I'm glad we're able to make this happen.
100%. And what better time to do this than after what we just witnessed last night, dude? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What were your thoughts going into that down 22, 7:30 to go?
So I was just trying to figure out, okay, the Knicks are going to be down 0-1. What does this mean? Here we go again. Oh my God. Can they actually lose this series to the Cavs? While expecting, though, that they had a run in them. Now, when you're talking about down 22 with 7 minutes to go, I'm thinking that the chance for the run was probably over. But then watching it slowly develop and getting stops and seeing Brunson, who was a man possessed, take over, it was just right down to the wire, then going into overtime. Just an incredible, holy crap, did that just happen win, where usually we're on the wrong side
Oh
of
my
those.
gosh.
So I'm not going to give the Knicks flowers, Jim, for winning a game which they should have won, and they played like crap for 3.5 quarters. I
Yeah,
will say that it was a thrilling comeback, but they did what they're supposed to do. Now they got to go do it again and protect home court.
totally agree. I totally agree with you. I got to give the coach credit though for one thing. Having the wherewithal to pull Hart off the floor and put Landry Shaman in, you got to give credit to him for doing that. Like putting in a shooter of that magnitude. And listen, they left Hart open a lot in that game. He hit some shots. He did okay, but to have the wherewithal to make that move and pull that trigger, that's something Thibodeau doesn't do.
Right. Mike Brown has done a nice job here. Now, he's got work to be done. He was
Yes.
brought here to get this team over the top in the Eastern Conference, at the very least, get them to an NBA Finals. He's 3 wins away from doing that. But would Tom Thibodeau have handled that situation the same way? I'm not so sure. I still trust Tibbs more, but I have to evolve and open my thought process to seeing what Mike Brown has done, adapting with his team, learning on the fly, making changes within the postseason series, switching things up against Atlanta. That worked out well. So he's utilized the bench more. Now, he's had a deeper bench, a healthier bench than Tibbs had, but Mike Brown deserves a ton of credit. He's done a great job so far. Work to do. Great job so far.
And listen, I was very skeptical of the Brown hire. Like, as just like every other Knicks fan going like, man, he's like the seventh or eighth choice. Like they went through all these people to try to
Yeah.
get this guy. But what he's done, and I'm going to give him credit for one thing, he's unlocked Mikal Bridges. And I think going back to the game where he benched him for Deuce McBride really kind of lit a fire under Bridges, and you've seen a totally different player since then.
Bridge has been an X factor. And I read something today about Mike Brown that he lets the players police themselves and holds themselves accountable. He's fortunate that he took over a situation that Tibbs did the hard work for. He built this thing
Yes,
from the ground up. Leon Rose, obviously, as well, but
of
they did the
course.
hard work. He took over a team that was ready to go in, but maybe his hands off a little bit more approach has benefited these guys, whether it's Towns figuring out Bridges, as you mentioned. They
Yeah.
are they are playing as well as any Knicks team I've ever watched in my lifetime, as together as any Knicks team in my lifetime. They're as hungry as any Knicks, and I love those '90s Knicks growing up. But
Oh,
this
so
team
do I.
has
Yeah.
they have been the best Knicks team that I've watched so far.
Same. I mean, you hit every nail that you can possibly hit. I mean, they've been to a point now where like you're almost expecting this now. Like you're almost expecting now, like, okay, once they kind of find some sort of like some deep water, they're going to come back from it. I mean, and it starts with Brunson. I mean, I'm very critical of Brunson because I think he has the ball in his hands too much for me. But when you start making shot after shot after shot, and then also just go find James Harden and just go destroy him. I mean, that to me is just the next level thing that you can give to the coach, but also Brunson understanding the situation, knowing it's time for him to go.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. We heard about the matchups coming into this series where nobody's gonna be able to stop Jalen Brunson. Slow start, Knicks were sluggish, a little bit of rust. They weren't able to knock down shots. When Brunson, not that when he needed to, because he was trying earlier,
Yeah.
but when the shots started to fall a little bit and they saw the matchup with Harden, clearly he took advantage of that and was just a man possessed
Oh
going
my
out there
God.
taking over the game, knocking down threes, getting to the rim. It was a beautiful performance
Oh
by a guy who was just. Can you say enough about Jalen Brunson? I mean,
no,
what a star! How
you can't.
fortunate are not only fortunate, the Knicks were smart to be able to go out there and get Brunson and see this potential in him. As a matter of fact, he might have even eclipsed whatever they thought he could do. He's been that great with the Knicks.
Sal, he's the best free agent signing the Knicks have ever had, and let's be honest, he might be the best free agent signing in the history of the NBA at this point. For what they got him for, and then now being able to keep him at the price they have him at now. I mean, that it's just a masterclass of how do you run a business. It's amazing to me.
Leon Rose deserves a ton of credit. We can talk about Mike Brown, but the way that they've put this team together, even with Bridges, they gave up a boatload for Bridges. They paid a premium for what
Sure.
they believed could be a guy who could turn into a star player. He wasn't at that time, and now he's
No.
starting to show that. Ananobi trade, being able to trade
Oh,
R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel quickly and change the look of that team, going all in on Karl Anthony Towns, building this bench up. It's been a nice combination of smart free agent moves, smart trades, and also drafting and developing as well.
and I love the Alvarado move they made. I mean, he just fits New York. So I understand he's from there. He's played there. Like, I get it. Grew up a Knicks fan. I get that. But just the way he plays, the grit, the energy he plays with, the fact that he loves defense, right? And listen, he gives you what he needs to give you. When the Brunson minutes are, when the non-Brunson minutes are, he's the guy that's going to step in, and he doesn't hurt you when he does that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they got some depth, right? You like his feistiness
Yeah,
as well.
I love it.
Brings that defensive energy. Of course, growing up watching the '90s Knicks, you like that. Now he can't
Of
shoot
course.
the ball really well, but he's not here to do that. They have everybody else who's going to do that. So his defensive intensity, the energy
Yeah,
that he brings, love that as Alvaro. That's why I say that they're deep. They're
yeah.
talented. They're deep. They play together. They play hard. What more could you ask for?
Nothing. You can't ask for anything more than that because right now it's the best Knicks team we've seen. And I hope, listen, I said this before. I don't want this to end, Sal. Like, I just don't want it to end. Like, I just want to just watch this all the time.
I play the fire over. I'd like to see again with Jalen Brunson hosting the Larry O'Brien Trophy. That to me would be where I want it to end. You're
Let me
right
tell you
though; it
something.
is an enjoyable. Although the regular season wasn't enjoyable. That was more. It was okay,
Yeah.
but it was more frustrating because we expected more. This playoff run, this has been enjoyable.
Oh my gosh, it's the best. I mean, it really is the best. And I'll make you a promise right now. If we get to that point, I will see you at the parade. Fair?
Maybe I can't. I've never been to one because the only team that I've seen win in my lifetime has been the Rangers,
Right.
and I didn't go. I was in junior high for whatever. It's one
Yeah.
regret that I
Same.
had. Some of my friends went. I didn't. I didn't go into the city and go to that parade. So I would be tempted certainly to go to the Knicks ticker tape parade. It's going to be if it does happen, that would be absolute chaos. I think it would be the biggest parade that the city has ever seen if
A
that happens.
100%. Like there's nothing that energized New York City than the Knicks because it just seems to be like the Knicks are they're the glue, right? Like they keep like everybody's either Yankees, Mets, Jets, Giants, et cetera, et cetera. Besides the smattering of Nets fans that are all over the place, which I have some in my life, so I'm not going to discredit them. Everybody's a Knicks fan, man. You got 95% of where we are Knicks fans, and it's just you see the videos online of how much everybody's so happy. Like that's what this is. It's what it was when we were kids too.
Yeah, they're throwing parties in the streets after winning a game in the first round. So
You
imagine
got,
when they actually win
oh my
it.
gosh, you got Jadakiss running around slapping high fives. You got Dolan giving balls out to people in the street. Like, what kind of a bizarre world are we living in right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of which, I want to kind of transition to something too. You and I both share, and that's our affinity and love for our New York Metropolitans. So I want to just kind of throw this out there and just say this. I want to believe, but I'm having a hard time really kind of fully committing to believe. And I just have my reservations with this team. And I'm going to tell you right now, the first reservation I have is Nolan McLean. I'm worried about Nolan McLean. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. I don't can't give you a real explanation, but he's just not right. And I don't understand why.
I wouldn't worry about McLean. I mean, I know he had a bad start last night. To me, it's unacceptable to blow a 5-0 lead. Even if you're not at your best, you got to make sure you preserve that lead until the fifth
100%.
inning, even if it's 5-4. But he's still a young pitcher. The expectations were out of control from the beginning. I still trust him. I just don't know to what extent. And I think that while there have been spots where you'd like to see him be a little bit better, I would expect that from a young pitcher. Where I would worry about the team is almost everywhere else, where
Oh,
the injuries have ravaged them. The lineup has not been performing the way that they want. The injuries in the rotation. There's a lot that they've taken on here. It's nice that they're back to within 6 games under 500 as we record
yeah,
this, but the
yeah.
reality is, it's going to be an uphill battle for the Mets this year.
Yeah, I saw your interview yesterday with Mendoza. So I wanted what did you feel coming out of that interview? Like what was your take on like how he was, how you felt like, he was the pulse of the team. What did you think of that coming out of what he told you?
I love Carlos Mendoza. I think he's a great manager, a baseball lifer. I hope that people listened to that interview and maybe came across saying, you know what, maybe he's not such a bad guy. Like, trust me, he knows what he's doing.
Okay,
This is not his fault. I'm not saying he's perfect because he's the manager. As he said, I'm the manager of the team and we've got to be better and we got to clean up the sloppy play and this
right.
and that. But if you actually look at it, they have been destroyed by injury. You could say you don't
Yes, they
like the
have.
Polanco signing. Polanco hasn't played. Luis Robert, same thing, hasn't played. They're not going to these kids because they necessarily wanted to. They're going to them out of necessity. And it's been fun watching the younger kids, but then you have to understand there's going to be learning curves with that, including Carson Benz dropping pop ups. Like that's just part of it when you have young kids there. So I think he's handled himself very well under difficult circumstances. I don't know if he's going to be back or not. I think he's an asset. I think he proved himself in 2024. He's a baseball lifer. He's experienced in New York. He's smart. He's held players accountable, holds himself accountable. He's got all the attributes that I would be looking for. I don't think the Mets could do better than Mendy.
They play for him. I mean, you can definitely say that. They play for him. Like they don't quit on him. They don't you see that they're trying to even hold themselves accountable when you hear them talk going like we need to be better, we need to be better, this isn't the manager's fault, and that's why he's here. And I think because of that and that strong, you got that strong voice in the room for that, it goes a long way. And I really, Sal, I pray that they turn this thing around, man. Like I really want them to, but I just don't know if they can. I really don't know if they can. I mean, it's nice to see Bichette starting to hit a little bit. I mean, you said it best. The injuries have killed them. It's killed them, and it's also
Yeah.
given them opportunity to play guys like an AJ Ewing and a Carson Benj and Vientos playing every day and Beatty back to being a third baseman. That's all well and good, but it's not good enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the injuries are a part of it, a
Yeah.
significant part of it. Poor performance is another. But think about it this way: their lineup, their top four guys have not been in the lineup together basically all year long. Soto was
Nope.
out for an extended period. He comes back. Lindor's out an extended period. Polanco hasn't been there at all. Bichette is just starting to get going now, and who knows how much that's going to stick. So that's a big part of the way this team was built, and we just have not seen it. So I don't. I mean, it's going to be a disastrous season if they don't make the playoffs. But the way things have gone, it's probably not likely that that's going to be the case, and they just continue to take on water with Clay
Yeah.
Holmes' injury. Like,
Oh,
when's it going to end? So it's a lot
no,
to
I know.
overcome for this team. I just hope that at least, if we're not going to see this team compete for the postseason, I'd like to see the younger guys continue to get run, which I think we'll see. Whether it's
I
Ewing,
agree.
obviously Benj, Morabito, we'll see what maybe some of the young pitchers get called back up. Whether it's Tong, Thornton making his
Yeah.
debut. So I'm okay if they don't make the playoffs, if we're seeing the future start to look bright with some of these young players.
I don't know who the person was that gave Nick Morabito number 8, but come on, man. Like, dude, like Gary Carter was my hero as a kid. Okay, like he was my that like I wanted to be him. I played catcher. I wanted to wear number 8. Like I wanted to have a batting stance like him. To the point now, Sal, my youngest son is named Carter. Okay, like my wife gave me that blessing to name my youngest son Carter. So to see that 8 on somebody else, I was like, ooh, that's a bad look. And not the kid's fault. It has nothing to do with the kid. I'm just saying, like for me, being such a Gary Carter, like he was my hero. And I wish I could have gotten a chance to meet him before he passed on, but just to tell him that, you know what I mean? Like you meant so much to me. Like you shaped my life. But hey, I understand it was an honest mistake. It is what it is, but still, it just kind of irked me a little bit.
Well, you're not alone. A lot of people had a big deal with it. I love Gary Carter, but for
Yeah,
me, either retire the number or put it back in play. And I don't know how it went down. Maybe he asked for it, and maybe nobody really thought enough of it. Maybe there are young kids who were handing out these numbers that don't understand. I don't know the inner workings of it. It was clearly a bad decision by however they got to that decision that they then quickly rectified. But if you're
yeah.
not going to have anybody wear it, and they're not, then I think it's time for the Mets to retire the number 8. Unfortunately, obviously, it's long after.
It's been
Yeah,
long
yeah,
overdue, Sal. It really has been.
yeah.
It's been long overdue. And listen, I'm coming from a place from my heart, so that it's going to be different for me. But still, I mean, for what he did for us, as even like as a little kid, I'll never forget this. First, 10th inning, St. Louis hits the home run to win the game. Like that was it for me, because I was a big Mike Fitzgerald fan. Like I loved Mike Fitzgerald. Then he gets traded for Gary Carter. Who's this Gary Carter guy? And now, he's the last piece of a winning team. I mean, you and we were talking about this before. We share this in common. We both love that 1986 Year to Remember video from back in the day. I mean, I've watched the thing 1,000 times, and I can recite it word for word. But still, like that was our team.
Yeah, I love that '86 team. Unfortunately, it was the last team that we've seen win a World Series,
Yeah,
though it's been 4 years ago. We have to keep watching that video because the only time we can watch the Mets win a World Series.
I know, I know, I know. It's been too long, man. Like like I have kids now. Like I have too much gray hair. Like no, we need this stuff needs to happen. Can we just make it happen, please? So I want to talk about you a little bit. I just wanted to ask you really, like, how's things going? How's the show? How's Bada Booms? Like, how's life in Sal Licata's
Ah,
world come May of 2026? How is it different? Is it better? Is it worse? How are you doing?
getting better. Bada Boom's been a treat. Learning how to go into the YouTube podcast world with him by my side is fun. It's been challenging. It has certainly not been easy trying to adjust, but we're having some fun. And now I think we're really starting to roll a little bit, feeling more confident and happier each and every day with the podcast. So as
It
of now,
looks
all
great.
good. Plus, I'm getting to spend a lot more time with my daughter at home, which has been good as well, and my wife.
That's the great. That's the greatest thing in the world. I mean, honestly, like that's the coolest thing ever. Just like, does your daughter do anything? Like, does she do like any like outside activities, sports, or anything like that?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Just wait, man. Just wait. Like I've been coaching basketball now for over 10 years, and it's the coolest. I'm telling you, it is the greatest thing in the world when you can make an impact on a young person's life through sports. I mean, it's the coolest thing in the world. It really is. Like it's so much fun. It's so like um fulfilling for me, being able to to have that kind of like, impact. I had a player of mine recently. I was just talking to their parents, and they said to me, he goes, I don't know how it just came up. They were just like, if you ever needed something, who would you call? And without question, he just answered, Coach Jim. Call him right now. Like that's it for me, dude. I'm done. Like I'm. That's why I do this. It's amazing. It really is. Just wait, man. You're
Well,
gonna you're gonna love it, dude. You really are.
yeah,
That's
I
listen.
can promise you this. I don't think there's gonna be a coach. There's not gonna be a Coach Sal. I can promise you that.
Dude, you say that now, and then what happens is you're gonna see something, and you're gonna go, you know what? I can fix that. I can fix that, and then you're
Yeah.
gonna do it, and then eventually it's just gonna snowball into something. But you know what? Listen, I'm an avid fan of the show. I watch it all the time. You can tell the difference between show one to show, I think it's 88 or something like that now. You see the evolution, and you see, like you said, the comfortability between Bada Booms, your guests. I love the way you interact with your guests. It's a conversation. It's fun. It's supposed to be, you're not afraid to ask a tough question, which I totally love. But I love the fact that you allow it to kind of flow naturally. You have fun with it, but you're also not afraid to be yourself.
Well, thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. It means a lot. And obviously, there should be evolution. So I know I've been in the business a long time, but still doing something new. It's always your first show is going to be nowhere near where your 80th show or 90th show or 150th show is going to be. That's how these things should be. I'm sure it's the same thing for you. So
Yeah.
we've been learning together, me and Bada Booms, and I'm excited for what we have in store in the near future.
Yeah. Listen, Sal, listen, I can't thank you enough for doing this. Like, this has been an absolute pleasure of mine to get a chance to interact with you, talk to you, and really kind of pick your brain on things, talk about a lot of the shared interests that you and I have. And listen, you have an open invitation. Whenever you want to come on the show, just say the word, my friend. Listen, I really appreciate you. Good luck with your career. God bless you and your family. And again, I'm just tickled pink to make this happen. So again, thank you.
I appreciate that very much. Jim, thank you so much for the support and best of luck to you and your family as well. And good
Oh,
luck
thank you.
coaching all the boys there.
Well, listen, we need it because you know what? It's fine. I have a pretty big college bill coming to my house pretty soon. So that's going to be fun. She's going to, I don't know if I said that, she's going to Temple University in the fall to study early education. My daughter, she's 18. But my oldest son, Brett, he's 15. He's 6'5" and 200 pounds and wants to play Division I college basketball. That's like his dream. So he's every day outside doing something, trying to get himself better. And I love that. So, hey, fingers
God
crossed, man.
bless. Good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, Sal, I'll be in
Congrats and
touch.
good luck. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate
All
it.
right, Jim. All right.
All right, guys, we're back here on the All Around, and it is that time again to welcome in my co-host, the one, the only Nicholas Rosselli. Nick, how are you, my friend?
Great to be back. I'm good.
All right, so I'm just gonna say, what'd you think?
Um, well, we'll talk Knicks. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
they're looking insanely good. Um,
How crazy was that yesterday?
I mean, I saw the game. They were down like 20. I was like, yeah, it's over. Like I thought the Knicks were gonna. I thought they were gonna have a slow start. I mean, they had a big rest, but that fourth quarter was immaculate.
I went into the game thinking they were gonna lose game one, and I'm thinking there's too much rest. It's too much time off, especially for that of a high intense playoff situation. It's just too much time. And they look like a team that hadn't played basketball in 9 days. They did, and that's fine. And then to have what you have and to, just turn this thing into something that nobody thought was going to happen. Listen, I've said this to you. It's a wrap. It's over. Like, it's a wrap. They're done. Like, the Cleveland Cavaliers are cooked. It's over.
I mean, I wasn't a big on the Cavs to begin with going this series, and I think that wraps it up to me.
Yeah.
They have no shot. They and the
How
Knicks
did they come
found
back
what
from this? How did they
uh,
come back from this, Nick?
the Knicks found how to abuse Harden. I mean,
Yes.
they went after him continuously, and it worked every single time. Brunson was just frying them.
Yeah, he was. I mean, listen, you heard Mike Breen say it on the broadcast. The Brunson burner was lit. That's a great line. And he made the right decision too. Once he knew the ball was going to be out of his hands, he knew where the shooters were. Like when they went to double him, Anunoby was open, Shamit was open, Bridges was open. And you know what? They started knocking down shots, and here we are. Like it's great, but at the same time, like I now know that like this team can compete with, the best of the best because of what I just witnessed and how they did it. And they didn't play their best basketball last night. Not even close to their best basketball last night. And you got that kind of performance in I'd say like a 12-minute stretch where you outscore them 44-11 after you've done nothing for 3.5 quarters. Like, no, like once they start to click again, if they get to that level again, which I don't see why they don't. I mean, this is otherworldly. Like this doesn't happen to teams that I root for. Like it doesn't. This doesn't happen to teams that I root for.
I think Landry Shamet surprised me so much. I mean,
Dude,
anytime he caught the ball, it was going in.
yeah, you
Anytime.
give the credit to the coach, Nick. He put him in there. They took Josh Hart out because they knew Hart was they were putting Jared Allen on Josh Hart so he can cheat, right? So he can now kind of be the help defender and get those blocks. Hart made some shots. Didn't make all of them, but he made a good amount of them. He did okay. But to put a guy like that in there that you know is going to knock down a three, an open three, it's like target practice for this guy. That to me was a huge tactical move by the coach. And you got to give the coach credit for it. You do.
Yeah, the Knicks. I mean, once it went in an overtime, I knew it was over. I knew the Knicks
Yeah.
were going to win.
Yeah. Same.
It's
Same.
no momentum for the Cavs. It was
Yeah.
all on the Knicks side
Yeah.
at
Listen,
home. It's huge.
that's when the rest really, like, you saw why the rest mattered so much. Honestly, like, that's why you saw why it was such a big deal for them to have that type of a break, and for them to have fresh legs after Cleveland coming off a hard-fought 7-game series against a very good team in Detroit, to then have a 22-point lead, thinking it was over, and then have to try to restart the wheel. I guess that's what you got. And you know what? The Knicks found something. They went away from the cat. I'm going to play in the, kind of the high post elbow where I can kind of sort out what I want to do. They saw it wasn't working. You know that they did their homework on that, which is great. But then they went back to the 1-4 low. They went to Brunson. They found James Harden wherever he was and just let him destroy him.
Coaching job was amazing. Like you
Unbelievable.
said, I mean, you compare that to last year.
Yeah. Yes.
Insane. Game 1 last year was completely different, the opposite scenario. And the result's different.
Sal Khan and I just had this conversation right before you came on, Nick, and I said the exact same thing. This doesn't happen last year. Like the moves that Brown make, Thibodeau doesn't make. He's going to be the guy who's going to play 7 guys. He's going to be the guy to play everybody 40 minutes. And listen, he built the foundation for what this is now, and I will always give him credit for that. But he couldn't take this team to the next level. And I didn't think Mike Brown could either. I'm just being honest with you. I had no clue that Mike Brown could do the same. But as the games have gone on, there's just these little things that you see him do. Okay? Benching Mikal Bridges in game 3 of the Atlanta series. All right? Telling him now, like, it's now or never. Like, you're either going to do what we want you to do and hold yourself accountable, or you're not going to play. I love that. It changed him. Like, you see now that it's changing him. He's playing at a much different pace. He's playing more downhill attack. This is the Mikal Bridges they traded all those picks for. Right now, what you're seeing.
Yeah, I'm thinking back to even the Atlanta series. The Atlanta series could have been totally different. It happened last year with different coach.
No,
I mean,
I think they lose the Atlanta
how it
series
came
last
out.
year, Nick.
Yeah,
I do. I think they lose it. Like,
I
I
do.
just
I
don't
think they
think he
do
was a
also.
good coach. Like, I just don't think he was a good in-game, strategist. I don't think he was good at that. That wasn't his forte. His forte was able to build a foundation and get guys to play hard and play accountable and play defense. That was him, and that's great. So, okay, now we need to get to another level because that's not championship level. Dude, I'm through the roof right now. I'm so, like, I don't want this to end. I don't want it to end. I really don't. Like, I want this thing to like, just to keep going. And, I don't want it to end.
I mean, I've never had the feeling as a basketball fan like that, so
Oh, well, no, but you've had
couldn't
others
imagine.
though. All right, come on, stop. Like, you've had the Eagles,
I have
like
had the
you've
Eagles.
had those runs, so I don't want to hear it from you. Like, come on. And like, listen, 2011 for me was a long time ago. So, it's been a while. And listen, I had the nice little run there with the Mets in 24. That was fun, but not like this. It ain't like this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not where, you can feel it now. Like, you can really kind of start to believe it now. Like, and that is something that I've never in my life experienced.
You could feel it in the stadium, even the arena. I mean, you
Yeah.
feel the energy.
Oh, dude.
They have I
It's
think, one of the best crowds out there.
Well, I
Top
agree. And
three.
listen, and here's why. I'll explain why. All right. New York has a potpourri of teams everywhere, right? Baseball, you have the Yankees and the Mets, right? Um, Football, you have the Giants and the Jets. Okay. Hockey, you have 3 teams, depending on where you live. You have the Devils, you have the Rangers, and you have the Islanders. So, like, you have all those things. All those sports kind of, really, kind of take little pieces of everybody, right? I'm not saying anything bad about Net fans, right? Because I do have some friends in my life that are Nets fans, okay? And there's nothing. Hey, you want to root for the Nets? That's great. I mean, I remember that 02-03 run like it was yesterday, right? Everybody's a Knicks fan. 97% of this area, that the area that I grew up in, the area that, kind of has a lot of those fans, they're Knicks fans, dude. There's nothing that galvanizes a group, especially up here, than the Knicks. I'm sorry. It's just they're the glue. Like they're the team that everybody has a fond memory of, and when they're good, this is what you see.
It's great to watch. I mean, I think like when a high market team does well, I think you see like their history. You see how everyone's supporting them. You see it all. And hey, the Knicks haven't been this good in it's been a while.
20 years, dude. 20 years.
Yeah.
It's been legitimately 20 years. You had a blip with Carmelo in 2012, 2013. And then from 2021, when really Tibbs kind of took over and you had the Julius Randle Knicks, and then everything started to evolve with Brunson and everything else. This is what you got now. You've had now a 5 year stretch of them being good, but now you're getting to the point where like they're elite. And that now like you're kind of crossing that bridge, and that's a scary bridge to cross. And I listen again, I hope this thing just continues, dude. I really do. I really do. Hey, speaking of a team that's hot though, is your Phillies. Holy moly, they don't stop.
Yeah, they are hot. They lost today, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Nola on the mound, so
Okay.
makes sense. That correlates to a loss. But yeah, they've been really hot. They
Oh,
haven't had Schwarber all series though, so
what
I
happened
might
with
have
Schwarber?
illness, stomach or
Okay.
something
Oh, he's
like
been sick.
that. So
Okay.
yeah, sick. So he should be back Friday. But yeah, they're hot. They're hot. They just got to keep playing this way. I mean, they're young guys, not really young, but they're guys like Bohm and Stott. They really picked it up, and I think that really helps. You have two of the best pitchers in the NL. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you can't get better than that. So
No, you
yeah,
cannot.
they've been on fire. I like it.
Yeah, my team's struggling to beat the Nationals. And my best pitcher gave up a 5 run lead last night. I think there's something up with him. I listen. I don't know if it's just the hype. I don't know if it's we want to believe again with him. Do we want like just a kind of something to hang on to as Met fans because Stearns kind of took away some of the guys we really truly loved, or do we just kind of peak, like did he peak too soon? I don't know. I don't know what it is, but he's not right, and it bothers me that he's not right. Because you can't have a 5 run lead and blow that. Like he's the only guy they have that can go deep in games. I don't know if it's, maybe it's mental with him. I don't know if that he's trying too hard. I don't know if he's relying on, stuff because this stuff is crazy good. But for whatever reason, he leaves one up and then all of a sudden the inning blows up on him. You know who he reminds me of, Nick? Zach Wheeler. Because Zach Wheeler as a Met did the exact same thing Nolan McLean's doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, against the Nationals, I mean, these are games that he should be throwing
They have to
seven
win the
innings.
games he starts, Nick. Like their pitching is so bad. Him and Peralta are really the only two guys they have right now that are halfway decent. Okay, you got to do it tonight. I've never, Zach Thornton or whatever his name is. Like like you're now he's gonna. I don't know anything about him. Or I mean Christian Scott. I know he's coming off Tommy John, but like, dude, he gave him 4 innings yesterday. Even Peterson, they made a bulk guy. Like like they there's something going, like their pitching stinks, dude. Like it stinks, and they can't, like, they're starting to hit a little bit now, but they're not hitting enough. So I don't know. Like I want to believe, I want to stay positive. I want to think maybe that this will, like this will, you know, hopefully it'll pass or whatever, and they'll start to get good again, and they'll get on a hot streak or whatever. But time's running out, dude. Like it's already the middle to the end of May, and if they don't turn this thing around quick, like it's come like the summer, everybody's gonna be talking about football.
Yeah, I've been seeing them calling up guys. Didn't they just call like an
Yeah,
outfielder up too?
Morabito they called up. AJ Ewing's been great. Like I think he deserved to be called up. He's been productive every time he plays. Carson Bench is doing very very well. So like there are bright spots with them, but you still have Mark Simeon at second base, dude. He stinks. Like he stinks. Bo Bichette finally hit 2 home runs last night, but besides that, has done nothing. Soto can only do so much, right? They're injured. You figure your starting shortstop, one of your best player of the team, is probably not coming back until June. You know, your starting center fielder, which I don't think he's going to be the starting center fielder anymore with this kid Ewing on the team. Like I don't know what they're going to do with him when he comes back. Polanco hasn't played. Like, you have guys that just haven't done anything. And again, like I guess we'll see what they are when they're full strength. But I'm not very convinced that this is a bad year. I'm sorry, it's just a bad year.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they have to get to 500 soon, or the season's wrapped. You're not
Dude, it's now or
500
ever. It's
by.
now or never. Like, they need to, like, right now as we speak, they're down 2 runs to the Nationals. Right? You got to win this game tonight, and you got to win tomorrow too. Like, you can't. You have to take 3 or 4, and if you do that, now you can go into the Miami series and try to take 2 or 3 from there, and then you're starting again to truly kind of get back towards that 500 mark. But I don't know if they're
And
going to win
even
tonight.
these games,
Yeah,
it's not like they're not difficult teams. It's not the
no,
Dodgers, it's not
no,
the
no,
Braves.
they're
It's
not
the
playing the upper
Nationals.
echelon teams. They haven't played the Braves or the Phillies yet this year. Think about this. They haven't. They haven't played them at all. Okay, and they're 6 games out. They're 6 games under, and God knows, 11 and a half games out at this point, 10 and a half, something like that. Like, and they haven't played them yet. I don't know, dude. I'm frustrated. Very, very, very frustrated on a baseball end, at least. But at least my basketball team is giving me a lot of hope.
Might be a rough summer for baseball, but
Yeah.
hey,
Listen,
the Knicks, the Knicks might have it.
I'll hang on to this, dude. I'll ride this lightning bolt as far as it's going to allow me to ride it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
What do you graduation's coming up soon, right? You got a couple weeks?
yeah. It's June, like mid-June, June
Okay.
20th something.
Okay.
It's coming up
Um,
though.
yeah. Lacrosse is done now. You guys are finished up.
We have one more state game, so if we win that, we keep going. If we lose,
Okay.
then it's over.
All right. Well, listen. Best of
Yeah.
luck. You know that. Listen, I'm going to try and get out there if I can. With all the craziness I have going on, I'll do the best that I can. But listen, good luck. I'll definitely be at your graduation, though. I know that for a fact. Depending on, as long as it's not on the same day Brooklyn's graduation is, I'll be there. I promise.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you. Sounds good.
All right, dude. I'll talk to you soon. Be good, Nick.
All right, I'll talk to you.
All right. Later.
All right, guys, we're back here on the All Around, and as you can see, I am joined by my son, my 10-year-old son, Logan McAllister, who is proudly wearing his Jalen Brunson shirt that he wore to school today. We had a funny little exchange this morning because he had a dress down day at his school, and he goes, I had an outfit picked out for him, and he kind of looked at me all sideways and, gave me this kind of look where like, why am I giving him this outfit? And he looked at me and, what did you say, Logan?
Can I wear my Brunson shirt?
And I got to be honest, once he said that, the light bulb clicked, and I'm like, how can I not let this kid wear his Jalen Brunson shirt on a day like today, right? I mean, come on. Like, I mean, that's just bad parenting on my point. So, Logan wanted to come in and share his thoughts on the Knicks. So I was happy that he wanted to do it. So Logan, go ahead. Tell me what you want. What do you want to say about the Knicks?
Well, it was big that they came back from a 22-point lead, which it's really hard to do.
Mm.
Only a couple people can do it. And yeah, as I said, they're just playing really good right now.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I saw a stat before we came in here, Logan. And it said in the last 30 postseasons, by trailing by 20 points with 7 minutes to go, it was like 0 for like 660 something. Like, it was crazy. Like, it's just a crazy stat that what they pulled off last night was just, it was unbelievable. I mean, that's really, I go back to that word a lot, and there's no really other word to describe what I witnessed yesterday. Also, I want to announce on the show in a couple of weeks, we'll be having Logan on the pod as a guest with a couple of his friends that you will see on the show. We did it with Brett and his friends, and it was very successful and very enjoyable. And Logan asked me if we could do it with his friends, and I said absolutely, of course, we can do it with your friends. So I would say probably the next 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to see Logan as a guest with 2 of his friends. You excited about it, bud?
Yep.
Yeah, very excited.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on the Mets, kid?
They're playing amazing right now. Carson Bench is a great leadoff hitter
I
right
agree.
now, and Bobichet's doing okay. He's better than when he started. The one thing is, if we had Lindor, I think we'd be better. But Soto just gotta keep hitting home runs.
Mm-hmm.
They need a power hitter. That's what they really need.
Well, they had a power hitter and they let him go. So I mean, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy to me.
Yep.
All right. Well, listen, that's it for today. I want to thank Sal LICATA. Thank him for his time. It was a very nice conversation I had with Sal. I want to thank Nick Rosselli, my co-host. Always great talking to him. And I want to thank my son Logan for joining us at the end of the show today. And I'm looking forward to having him and a couple of his friends on to kind of see how that goes. So, Logan, thanks for coming on later. The last part of the show. And guys, we'll see everybody next week. Take care.